Imagine walking into an airport and never walking out again. The people change, the planes come and go, but you remain. Days turn into months, months into years, and the terminal becomes your entire world. This isn't fiction. It's the story of Mehran Karimi Nasseri, the man who lived inside an airport for 18 years. In 1988, a thin, weary man arrived at the Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. He was traveling to London, carrying documents that proved he was a refugee from Iran. But somewhere along the journey, those papers disappeared, lost or stolen. Without them, Mehran was no longer recognized by any country. He couldn't enter France because he had no legal papers. He couldn't fly to London because he had no passport. So he stayed, trapped in a glass and steel cage the world calls an airport. At first, everyone thought it was temporary. A few days, maybe a week. But those days turned into months, and months into years. 18 long years of waiting. He slept on a red bench in Terminal 1. His belongings, some books, a suitcase, and old newspapers, were stacked neatly beside him. He washed in the public bathrooms and ate meals from airport cafes or food courts. Sometimes kind staff members brought him food or talked to him. To the workers, he was Sir Alfred. To travelers, he was a ghost of the terminal, an invisible man living between arrivals and departures. Bureaucracy became his jailer. Lawyers tried to help, but every country refused responsibility. Iran wouldn't take him back. France wouldn't let him stay. Britain wouldn't let him in. He became a man without a home, without a nation, stuck in an endless loop of paperwork and rejection. He spent his days reading, writing, and thinking. "I'm not living in the airport," he once said. "The airport is living in me." Years later, his strange story inspired Steven Spielberg's film The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks. But for Mehran, it wasn't a movie. It was real life. A slow, quiet imprisonment without walls. In 2006, after falling ill, he was taken to a hospital and finally left the terminal. For the first time in 18 years, he stepped outside into a world that had moved on without him. He lived the rest of his days in shelters and nursing homes. Then, in November 2022, fate brought him back to the place that had defined his life, Charles de Gaulle Airport. There, in the same terminal that had once been his cage, Mehran Karimi Nasseri took his final breath. A man who waited for a home died in the only place that ever accepted him. Because sometimes the darkest stories in history aren't about war or violence. They're about silence, loneliness, and endless waiting.